Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to see a new chapter, The Sound of Music. This chapter is divided into two sections, part 1, part 2. Part 1 is dealing with Evelyn Glennie, a percussionist. This is the picture of Evelyn Glennie. As an introductory note, someone has commented this. God may have taken her hearing, but He has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. The comment is like that. She is unable to hear, but she feels what actually we hear. Not just simply feeling, she feels it far more deeply than any of us do, with all our sensory organs active. And that makes her music so beautiful. This is a photo of Evelyn Glennie at the age of 17, it seems. It's taken from Google. Let us begin the class. I have taken the textbook wordings at the top part of it, and the downside part is actually the explanation of this. What I speak is actually typed over there, so you can go through them, even if there is a little bit trouble of getting my tone. Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl, looking younger than her 17 years, was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. So it is clear that the girl is around a train platform. It's an underground one, and there is a huge rush at the platform. People are pushing each other to get their way. There is a small thin girl, it is Evelyn. Evelyn is standing at the railway platform waiting for the train. And just as she feels the vibrations of the approaching train, she realizes that the train is about to come. She gets nervous and excited. She gets nervous because she is actually from Scotland and now going to Europe. Scotland is a countryside, and London is actually a very well-developed urban area. So that was her fear, how she is going to manage over there. She was excited because learning music was her ambition of life. Now she is going to Royal Academy of Music in London to learn music. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. I have already told you about Scotland. It is not that much developed. But London was an urban area which was well developed, so it was a little troublesome for her to adjust with the new situation. She is 17 years of age. And to adjust with this will be a great challenge for her. This is the photo of Evelyn playing a musical instrument. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. She had the great ambition to learn music, but the problem was that she was profoundly deaf. To learn music, you must be very clear to the sound that comes from the other musical instruments or music, songs, or whatever it is. The teacher's sound should be heard very properly. Hearing ability is very much necessary for being a good musician, but he or she makes a difference in that. Evelyn could not hear. It was the biggest challenge for her. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. It was not all of a sudden that happened. Slowly, she lost her hearing power. How it happened? Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. So while she was trying to play the piano, the mother had called her, but she did not listen to that. She did not hear that. She did not make any response to the call of the mother. So that made the mother doubt that she couldn't hear properly. Her mother's name was Isabel Glennie. And this particular passage is actually her recollection is depicted. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teachers. She could not accept that she was going deaf. Could not accept means she might have been a little bit worried about her surrounding. Usually it happens to many of the students or people who finds initially that they are not listening to the voice around. They don't want to say that they are losing their hearing power. They don't want other children mock at them. Sorry, excuse me. So therefore she also just hid the particular fact from all the others. But by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. When she was 11 years old, her marks decreased. So the notification was made. The principal, the headmistress, requested her parents to take Evelyn to a doctor. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage. The reason was nerve damage. They were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids and sent to a school for the deaf. So the doctor is advising Evelyn's parents that Evelyn should get used to hearing aids and she should be sent to a school where the deaf children learns the things. Everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. When Evelyn discovered that she could not hear, that she would be sent to a school for deaf children, that she was not as good as normal children, her world became colorless. She was in a way, let us say, frustrated in the beginning. She was completely sad. But Evelyn was not going to give up. She was frustrated, but she never gave up. She was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. She did not want to leave her aspiration for music. She wanted to continue her musical life. Most of the teachers discouraged her, but percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. See, this is her teacher, Ron Forbes. He was also a percussionist. He began by turning two large drums to different notes. Don't listen through your ears, he would say. Try to sense it some other way. Ron Forbes thought that he would teach Evelyn to feel music. Feel music. He took two large drums and he turned them to different notes. Drums are, already musical instruments that we tune them in order to get proper notes. The screws are tightened differently, therefore they make different tunes. The sound produced by the drum was different. So it was distinct. Both of the drums made different sounds. He said that don't try to listen through your ears, but try to sense it. Try to feel the music some other way. Evelyn says, suddenly I realized I could feel the higher drum from the waist up and the lower one from the waist down. Means the higher note, the higher sound of the drum, she is now feeling from the upper part of the waist. And the lower voice she is sensing from the bottom part of the body. Forbes repeated the exercise and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. Due to thorough practice, she is now able to feel the music in her body. Different parts of her body recognizes different pitches. I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. Ron Forbes taught Evelyn to respond to different sounds. Different parts of Evelyn's body responded to different sounds, as just now I said. And that is how she could identify the sounds and the different vibrations. Now, once she could identify the sounds and vibrations, the hurdle had been overcome. The difficulty was over. Evelyn's career went upward. And so she had a determination to become famous, a good musician, and she also did a lot of hard work. She never looked back from that point onwards. She toured the United Kingdoms with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. She auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performances. Orchestral work is actually a group performance. Now she is now turning herself into a solo performer, a person who performs alone. At the end of her 3-year course, she had captured most of the top awards. And for all this, Evelyn won't accept any hint of heroic achievement. If you work hard and know where you are going, you will get there. You see the confidence in her. The most important thing in our life to achieve something is that you must desire for it first and then work hard for it. And she assures that you will win that desire. As she got right to the top, the world's most sought after multi-percussionist with a mastery of some 1,000 instruments and a hectic international schedule. So busy she now becomes. She becomes most wanted all over the world. She now becomes busy with her performances. It is intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. So the writer had an interview with Evelyn about 2 hours. And the writer experienced that though she could not hear, she never missed even a single word. That is what the interviewer or the one who talked to her is saying. Men with bushy beards give me trouble, she laughed. It is not just watching the lips, it's the whole face, especially the eyes. So those who had beard, they gave her a little trouble, she says, because she used to watch the facial expressions very clearly, not only the lips movement, the whole face she watched, she observed, and from there she could perfectly assume that particular word the other person might have been speaking. She speaks flawlessly with a Scottish lilt. My speech is clear because I could hear till I was 11, she says. Now, there is a saying that those who cannot hear cannot speak. Here the problem was that her hearing loss was actually gradual. Slowly it had taken place. In the childhood she was able to hear. So there was no much trouble. She had been already accessed with the various words. So there was no much difficulty. Evelyn confesses that she is something of a workaholic. I have just got to work, often harder than classical musicians, but the rewards are enormous. So she accepts that the classical musicians are a bit tough. They have to work back, practice for more times. But she says that somewhat like that she had also done her work, her effort in music. And great gains, great rewards she had achieved. Apart from the regular concerts, the regular musical programs, Evelyn also gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals. The charity works. Without any payment, she used to do all these things. She also gives high priority to classes for young musicians. And Richelin of the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says she is a shining inspiration for deaf children. They see that there is nowhere that they cannot go. Evelyn is an inspiration for all. She is an ideal. And Richelin, who belongs to the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children, says that Evelyn is an inspiration for those children who cannot hear. And when they get to know Evelyn's story, they feel that they can accomplish everything. They can fulfill all their dreams. It's not only actually for the deaf children, even we too are getting inspired by her story. Another picture of Evelyn Gulani. Evelyn Gulani has already accomplished more than most people twice her age. One could achieve something in his or her life, the double of that Evelyn has achieved. She has brought percussion to the front of the orchestra and demonstrated that it can be very moving. It can make changes around. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped, people who look to her and say, if she can do it, I can. And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions. Great encouragement for so many in the world. Evelyn's story is an inspiration to those people who are physically disabled. They feel that if Evelyn can achieve her dreams, even they can. And Evelyn has given a lot of pleasure to her audience by playing such good music. So with this, we come to the end of the first part of the sound of music. Kindly learn the question answers. In the grammatical sections, if there is any doubt, please ask me. Thank you. See you tomorrow with the second part of it.